Hi, beautiful souls. Hello. Hi. Oh, today was a day. I have some stories and experiences to share, and I hope you can find some medicine within them. I'll invite you have some cacao if you're joining me with some cacao or tea. Drop into a moment of stillness, maybe a deep breath into the belly. Feel your shoulders relax out of your ears. And chest and belly expand with deep, luxurious breaths, making space inside yourself to receive, to shift, to make room for something new. So, if you watched last night's episode, if you watched yesterday, I was very tired, and it was one of those days where my commitment that I made was very challenging to me, and my monkey mind was coming in, the saboteur, who was like, "You don't have to do it, and you already took one day off this week, but who's gonna know you took another one off? And like, is anyone really paying attention?" And that was when my integrity really kicked in, where it was like, I know, and that's all that matters, actually. And the commitment was to show up. So I showed up. But I'm laughing because it was kind of a funny little bit of like a messy episode, in my opinion. I went back and watched it and I was like, did that make sense? Anyway, maybe it'll go out and serve someone. But today I woke up and I was meant to go horseback riding with my friend, and I was very much so looking forward to it. We've had a lot of rain, and I haven't rode in a few weeks, and I almost knew last night when I went to bed that it was going to be hard to wake up for the horseback riding. And there's something about horseback riding where I really just feel like when I show up, I need to show up fully. It requires a lot of my mental focus. And it is also something that I'm very mindful of the energy I bring to the animals, even though I bet other horse people would say, they are healers. Go and let them shift your frequency. But I take a lot of respect and care into what I bring to them, and I try to make sure that I'm, um, you know, in alignment somewhat. So, all this to say, I was also extremely tired. So I woke up and I told the girls I'm not going to make it. And I didn't want to go back to bed. I was like, all right, let's go. We're doing something for today. And so I was like, I'm going to go paddleboarding. We had a break of sunshine. I really needed to just be in my bikini and be in the ocean. And I, at that point, was ready for some physical movement. And maybe it was the methodical, rhythmic, just me and the board and the equipment that I needed. That's very, very much so different than when it's me and an animal and we're syncing, and it requires much more focus, in my opinion. Very rewarding, much more rewarding in many ways. But so I arrived to go paddleboarding, and there's a pod of like 25 dolphins going by, which for me is always just a beautiful symbol and sign to um, really sit with emotions and let emotions flow, and then find play. They remind me to play, of course. I think are that symbol for a lot of people. Um, and I went for an amazing paddleboard session. I went all the way down to the south end of Wrightsville Beach and back, and saw a few friends along the way who were walking. And as I went under bridges, and stopped and got a vegan donut in the cafe, got back on my board, paddled back home, and got a shower and had an amazing 2 hour massage. And within the massage, magic was happening. I mean, it was just a magic filled day, and so many little images and visualizations and memories and sensations were becoming unlocked in my body as she was working on me. It was really, really profound. Um, and then I got in the car and I was driving back home, and I saw something in the road, but I mean, it's a very busy, busy, busy road. So a lot of people are driving, and no one was swerving around this thing, but I just happened to see it right after my back tires were going over it. And it probably would have been something I usually would have just like swerved out of the way of because you don't know what it is. And this is a reminder for people to continue to do that because immediately tire pressure gauge comes on and I'm starting to feel the rim. So it slices my tire open. There's someone behind me and they're like, I guess oblivious that my back tire is completely on the rim and my hazards are on. And they're like, go, go, and I'm like, relax, I'm going. So I was luckily able to get off the road, turn into a parking lot. And I'm like, okay, so we're calling roadside assistance. So I order roadside assistance and I'm sitting and waiting and I'm like, it starts to rain and I'm like, all right, this is what we're doing today. It's a back right tire, which I've had plugged, I think, 2 to 3 times. So it's not lost on me the symbolism of that specific tire, that right side, the masculine. And I'm still open to see what messages flow through, but it was interesting because, an hour and a half before when I was getting my massage, I had a lot of tenderness in my right side, sort of that space right below my ribs and above my hip. And every time she kind of touched it, I would like flinch. And she's like, "Oh, I think you're ticklish or something there." And I was like, "I don't know. It doesn't feel like a tickle. Doesn't feel like pain, but something's happening there." And it was funny. It was a dialogue we had during the massage, and we just were like, we don't know what it was. She couldn't find anything, and I couldn't decipher what it was. So it's interesting that it was also the right back tire that I'm like, okay. So interestingly enough, the masculine, right? We're talking about the right side. So, as I'm waiting and I'm kind of like parked awkwardly in a parking spot with my hazards on, and this red Jeep comes by and is like, "Hey, are you good?" And I rolled down the window and I'm like, "I'm fine. My insurance company has roadside assistance. They're coming to fix the tire." And he was like, "Well, I have fix a flat if you want me to just like do that." It was really sweet. It was this older man. And I was like, "No, I think it's past that." I was like, it lost tire pressure completely, like full to zero within 15 seconds. So I think we're past fix a lot. So it's sliced and it needs to be changed, and I have a spare, and they'll take care of it. So thank you so much. And he was like, "I've got a jack. Let's fix it." And I was like, "You want to help me?" And it was like raining, mildly raining. And he was like, "Yep." I was already like pulling in a parking spot. And I'm like, "Oh my God." Like, just so sweet, so kind. And genuinely, the energy and the sensation that I felt was it was just someone wanting to do something of service for someone because they were able to. And so we get out, and, you know, uh, he also works as a physician, so a healer and a service provider in his own right. So that was interesting. And we're jacking up the truck, and he gets the tire off, and the jack doesn't go up high enough to get the fully pumped up spare on. So we're like, okay, so good thing roadside assistance is still on the way. And we ended up having a really beautiful conversation, talking about different ways to holistically treat pain in the joints by using injecting this fluid of this carnivorous plant that actually eats flies, but the juices of the plant, the extract of the plant can actually um, subdue pain and can be like a steroid replacement, which was really fascinating because I have a lot of clients who get steroid injections for pain and joint. Um, there's so many technical words I'm like leaving out right now, but joint pain. They need a little lubrication on their joints. So this was really cool to learn about. I can't wait to share with some of my clients. And it was just very, very touching to feel taken care of, and to see an older masculine gentleman just being completely respectful and just genuinely just wanting to help. Um, Stepping in and doing it from the kindness of his heart. And so it was really, really a moment that could have been like, I just got a massage, I'm blissed out. I just want to go home and wash this oil out of my hair, and I'd oil all over me. And, your face has been mushed. And like the last thing you want to do is be talking to a brand new stranger changing a tire in the rain. And I was like an oiled, wet cat. And I just wanted to get in the shower. And let's remember, I'm still tired. So it's so funny how all those things meant nothing. We're completely out of sight, out of mind. And I was able to just receive so much service and love and giving and joy and learning and exchange. And it turns out he's going through a separation and has been, um, in some challenging emotional situations. And so being able to serve and help and um, come together with a fellow human was very nourishing for him as well. And we kind of laughed where he was like, it's really selfish when we're helping someone. And I was like, why is that? But if you watch the Phoenix Diaries, I know. And he said, because I'm the one that gets the chemical benefit from the giving. And I was like, exactly. But still, thank you. And this is also a beautiful hope message for those women. I know a lot of my clients that come to me and where have all the good men gone? They are there, honey. It's about your frequency being available and your aura being open and inviting. And I'm realizing more and more the exchange of our energy. So while he was physically offering a service to me, physically taking the lug nuts off and the tire off in the rain and jacking the truck up and all the things that these kitty calls just really, aren't the best at. If I wouldn't even know where to begin, to be honest with you. And so but to know that my joy and my appreciation and my light and my frequency was the exchange in that, and that was enough, and me being me was enough of an exchange, that is something that I'm realizing more and more and more, and life keeps showing me. Because we have a narrative, and well, I know I've had a narrative in the past, I'll just say from an I statement of needing to make sure the exchange is even, or that or potentially I'm over giving so that, it's balanced. But I'm realizing that my energy, my presence is enough. That is the gift in a lot of circumstances. In fact, I think sometimes the giver that's giving something to me would feel like they're still winning in that situation, which has really been a perspective shift for me. It's been really beautiful. So today was full of magic, wormholes, and miracles. And I was so in awe of the divine alignment of my life. I mean, by the time I pulled my car off, it wasn't 3 minutes later, he was pulling up, let me help. It was like, it really makes me want to cry thinking about the divine orchestration of things, the divine alignment. And he said he had one of his assistants who's needing a session and needing help and needing guidance from a woman and in a situation she's going through. And I felt so that might come out of it as well. I might be able to serve in that way and help her, which will help the frequency of the office, which will help him and every other patient that comes in through his doors. It just was so beautiful to witness the divinity of the ecosystem and um, the magic of my day. And there were so many moments, I think, within my day where I could have let my mind take me down a route that would have kept me at a lower frequency where magic can't get in. Of like, oh, I missed my horseback riding lesson and I canceled on my friend, and on and on and on. And running the narrative of guilt and shame, or, I shouldn't have stayed out late last night, even though I was with my mom and we had a wonderful time and we had the best meal and I don't regret that. But beating myself up in the morning. Just all of that is so unkind, and also behavior I would have maybe done in the past, maybe a decade ago. And it keeps you at a low frequency and it robs your next day of miracles and magic. So it's a really beautiful reminder for you to stay in your bliss, stay in your flow. And when you make decisions, make sure they feel like a hell yes. When I canceled on horseback riding, I knew no matter what I was going to end up doing, which I didn't know what it was, I thought it might have been a few more hours of sleep or a slower morning in my house without the demands of having to be outside and it being hot and da 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 da. I was open to magic happening. So this is a reminder that magic exists. Beautiful, beautiful people are in this world. And looking for opportunities to participate in your narrative. Truly. I remember I kept saying, "Oh, it's fine. You can take your jacket. They're on the way. You don't have to wait." And he was like, "I don't mind waiting. I'm really enjoying our conversation. And the only thing else I have left to do today is go wash my dog because you've inspired me with that German Shepherd you showed me. That's so fluffy." So we were talking about German Shepherds. And and I was like, "Wow, cool." So it was also such a beautiful human-filled day. And I think we need those now in a world that can get a little bit isolated feeling and divided feeling, and we can be off doing our own thing a lot. So I hope that this inspires you. I hope that this reminds you of all the beauty that is in our world and always trying to get to you, even when a contrasting thing happens, like running over something in the road that shouldn't have been there, and now my tire needs to be replaced. I landed in a bed of feathers. And I remember I said this after my breakup long time ago now. Um, I remember feeling like such a shitty situation, as they always are, endings can be, but also so much beauty and light. And I just feel like if I were to fall, I fell so far and just landed in like down blankets, feathers. I just was caught by feathers and angels and so much support. And I love to remind myself of those moments because there will be challenges again and there will be hard things again. That's the cyclical nature of the life of humanity, of this dense earth existence. And I know that the universe always has my back. My tribe, my support, my fellow humans, they are always here helping, the same way I am here helping them. And so this is could not be more of a hope message today. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah.